doesn't even like to smile. Whack! Me, I'm tight as fuck!
So here's the thing. I've never been an anime guy. I did have a brief Dragon Ball phase in my later years of elementary school, but, find me 5 guys my age who didn't. But that aside, I've never really watched anime outside of ones based on franchises I was already into. Stuff like Devil May Cry the animated series, the Netflix Godzilla trilogy, the Blade anime, and so on and so forth. However, as you can probably surmise from the title of this video, I spent the better chunk of last November and December getting invested in a little-known series called My Hero Academia. Which probably begs the question, why My Hero? Well, considering all my friends who watch anime wouldn't stop getting on my ass about not being an anime guy and would then follow it up with, you gotta watch My Hero, it's perfect for you, I kinda didn't have a choice, and admittedly, looking back on the show, I can see why they'd recommend it. But as I watched the show, there was a question in my mind that formed incredibly early on, and one that stuck with me both as a question I posed and one the show kinda brought up as a central theme. What does plus ultra mean? Okay, real quick, I am not a part of the My Hero Academia fandom. Admittedly, I did cosplay Deku at MegaCon this year, and I did meet both Justin Briner and Colleen Clinkenbeard, but I wouldn't consider myself an active part of the fan community. Some of y'all are kind of fucking weird, and I would like for this to be the one thing I really enjoy without interacting with the fandom too much. Trust me, I already got enough on my plate with the Spider-Man fandom. That being said, to those of you My Hero Academia fans out there, I might say some shit you disagree with in this video. Let's all be civil and rational in the comments, please. Oh, and while you're down there, leave some recommendations for other anime I should start watching. I'm gonna start watching Demon Slayer soon, and I already got One Punch Man, Death Note, and Kill la Kill on my list, so if anyone's got more recommendations, go right ahead. So, in case any of you out there are watching this video with absolutely no concept of what My Hero Academia even is, well, for starters, this is your only spoiler warning. I'm going to be talking about the events of everything up through Season 6, which correlates to about Chapter 329 in the manga. And for those of you still with us who don't know shit about the story and don't care about spoilers, I guess I kind of have to explain the premise. My Hero Academia takes place in a world where 80% of the population is born with some kind of superpower referred to in the show as a quirk. The series follows Izuku Midoriya, a teenager who's part of the unlucky part of the population to be born quirkless, but grew up idolizing and studying heroes. He aspires to attend UA, a prestigious high school for aspiring heroes, which has become a massive job market in this new world, and is given the opportunity after receiving a powerful quirk from the world's greatest hero, All Might. The series chronicles Midoriya's journey as he attends his new school, makes new friends, battles great enemies, and advances on his path to becoming the world's greatest hero. The series deals with themes of passing the torch, legacy, what it means to be a true hero, and plenty of other really wonderful ideas. The thing that immediately grabbed me about this series was the premise. While the idea of a superhuman society seems dope as all hell, the series smartly portrays it as a nightmare to live in almost all the time. Unlicensed quirk usage is illegal, and the protagonists are constantly having to sneak around and wear disguises if they want to avoid getting arrested. Being a hero is portrayed as a job comparable to being a professional musician or athlete. Not only do you have to have a quirk that is useful to hero work, you have to go to a good school, have great recommendations, deal with the competitive nature of the industry, develop and maintain a branded image, etc, etc, etc. And all of that is on top of the fact that your job is saving lives and stopping criminals who also have superpowers, some of which are incredibly dangerous. One of the most interesting aspects of the world, to me, is this hero job market. There's this fantastic edge of realism presented in the motivations behind every hero. Mount Lady is by far one of my favorites. Initially portrayed as a very media-savvy glory hog, you eventually see how she does value and believe in her ability to do the right thing. And while she fronts as doing the job for the fame and fortune, she actually does seem to be true of heart. Even the main characters get put under this microscope. Uraraka wants to be a hero for money, but it's specifically so her parents don't have to struggle financially. Ida comes from a long line of heroes and wants to live up to that legacy. Todoroki is also the son of a hero who's a bit of a bastard, and so his heroic efforts are spent trying to be a better man than his father Endeavor, while also somewhat feeding into his father's wish that he might one day surpass All Might. Bakugo and Midoriya are both shown to idolize All Might, but while one idolizes his power and strength, the other idolizes his hope and true heroism. That's why I really love the villain Stain as a character, as little as we get of him. The guy is an absolute deranged nutcase, but he sees right through the hero society and acknowledges that a large large portion of the hero population don't do it purely for the sake of helping others. His belief that heroes have lost the ability to be truly selfless is one that both the characters and the story at large kind of agree with, and demonstrates why All Might is such an important figure, as one of the last true bastions of heroism, based in ideology rather than extrinsic motivation. There is another character, however, that embodies this idea of being a hero for heroism's sake rather than for fame, fortune, or the fight. Midoriya earns the right to All Might's quirk after demonstrating that he himself is a true hero, moving without thought to save his friend. Granted, I feel like Midoriya actually made this situation worse, but that's not the point. If I'm being honest, it took me a while to really love Midoriya. For every great moment of true heroism, strength, and endearing optimism, there was an equally strong moment of him just kind of being annoying or overbearingly emotional. For the first few seasons, I was far more interested in more subtly written characters like Ida or Araka and Todoroki, or the even more underappreciated, underdeveloped characters like Kaminari, Tokoyami, and Sero. It wasn't until season 4 that I began to truly love the protagonist of this show. This fight against Overhaul isn't just an incredibly well-animated fight that uniquely offers Midoriya the opportunity to cut loose with no consequences. It also serves as the most literal representation of his character. The whole arc centers around busting up a crime ring that's creating anti-quirk weapons, but the heart of it is this relationship, Deku and Eri, a scared girl and a young man trying to be brave for her. Midoriya always speaks of the importance of saving people with a smile, bringing a comfort to anyone in distress being one of the truest marks of a hero. It's why his mask is meant to resemble that permanent smile. This unending drive to save everyone is the mark of all the greatest superheroes in fiction, and that holds true of Deku. Even as he becomes jaded as he grows more aware of the cynical side of hero work, the pageantry and the corruption that resides within, he maintains the belief that he can make the world right, and while he doesn't always see it, this makes him as worthy of a successor to All Might as one could ask for. However, this is also his fatal flaw. When push comes to shove, the desire to save everyone can bring out Deku's temper, and more importantly, his lack of self-preservation. Simply put, he can't save everyone if he can't even save himself. The new symbol of peace must master his own inner peace if he wants to save everyone. But beyond all of that, I want to talk about Bakugo. I know Bakugo gets a lot of flack, some of it deserved, but to be honest, he is my favorite character, has been from the start. Hell, he's the reason I started watching the show. I kept seeing him pop up in the item shop in Fortnite and thought, man, that dude with the grenade hands looks pretty sick. And I watched the show just to find out if he was. But beyond a dope design and a powerful quirk, Bakugo's a really fun character. There's something I find very entertaining about predictable characters, the ones that always do the same thing in every situation, and you know it's coming, and the characters know it's coming, and they don't want it to, and it's a punchline that it continues. And at first, that's mostly what Bakugo is, a rival and a bully to the protagonist, the match in every powder keg, and just a damn entertaining character. But as the show went on, I appreciated Bakugo for more than just the antics and explosions. I started to see the layers beyond him, those which I hadn't heard anyone else mention before. His toxic relationship with his mother, feeding into his aggression, while also tying into My Hero's themes of parenthood and the impact of a parent on a child. The episode that sticks out to me the most is Deku vs. Kachan Part 2. Watching Bakugo take on this great burden, the idea that he was to blame for the fall of All Might. In so many ways, it mirrors the way Deku holds himself responsible for literally anything that happens to anyone around him, and shows that despite his incredibly gruff exterior and often an inability to function like a person, let alone a hero, Bakugo has an instinct to help, to prevent death or great loss, and he has an immense respect for All Might. It creates this parallel between him and Deku, that both idolized All Might as children and into their teen years, though one respected the good man who saved people with a smile on his face, while the other respected the great hero who could best most opponents with a single punch. And as the show continues, we see more parallels between Bakugo and one of my other favorite rival characters in fiction, Virgil. An incessant need for more power built off of an insecurity, a deep desire to become stronger, to prevent some terrible occurrence, and to best their most hated and most respected opponent. But my favorite Bakugo moment, and honestly my favorite moment in the entire show, is this. Bakugo apologizes to Midoriya for the years of bullying and belittlement, and he bows his head in respect for the friend he had rejected and tormented for so many years. For once using his real name rather than the derogatory nickname that had given Midoriya both so much anguish and drive over the years, Bakugo in Season 6 demonstrates so much growth, but also an intimate awareness of someone he had always seemed to disregard. We know Deku takes notes on his allies and enemies, but Bakugo has done the same. Can you even smile right now? A question he poses to Midoriya in an attempt to make him see just how far he's fallen, how much he strayed from the path of the friend and hero they all once knew. And he bows in shame and apology, something the Bakugo we meet at the start of the show would never have done. To me, that's what this show is about. Moments like these, moments of apologizing to your victim, lying to protect a friend who got dragged into your mistakes, finding the faith to be an inspiration, risking everything you've worked for to save one person. To me, that's what it means to go beyond. Plus, ultra. Special thanks to my buddies Omar, Christian, and Devrick for donating to the $10 tier on Patreon. If you guys want to help this channel go beyond Plus Ultra, please consider donating to my Patreon for as little as $3 a month. You get early access to all my videos. If you donate to the $5 tier, you get exclusive content. And if you want to donate to the $10 tier, I will say your name in these consistently ad-libbed credits. First official video of the year. I am very glad to be back. And yeah, I'm dead serious what I said earlier in the video. If you guys have any anime recommendations, please drop them. You know, who knows? Maybe I will actually end up turning them into a video at some point. So yeah.